And good morning, everyone. And how are you doing today, guys? I know it's not so exciting, but let's take this time to think about things that we've all learned in this past week. Progress on the transfer, on the trade, on the transaction of the club. It's a big deal. And at the end of the day, we might all be disappointed in the fact that Sir Jim might be the one to be winning the race. But at the end of the day, let's just go over some of the reports, and then assert understand, analyze what is the possibilities going forward from here. And, maybe it might be positive, maybe it might be a negative, who knows? But let's just analyze and talk about it, see what you guys are thinking, hear my thoughts, go over some of the articles and see what's new. So I'd like you guys to take this time to like, subscribe, and share. And if you're new, please like, subscribe, and share. And it's just free. And you get to say hi and hear from your favorite assistant who's always here.
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Dankjewel. Ik ben welkom. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
So, guys, how are you feeling this morning? I know it's been a lot to take in. It's been a while. Yesterday we were talking long about the different news reports and who's saying what and what's really happening and the possibilities and the jargon and the different grammar they're using and how could it be determined and interpreted in different ways. So, let's get right into it and see what's next. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but as we talked about the injury for Casemiro last Saturday, I was saying that he got a tackle on his ankle and was really harsh, and he had to ask to come off the field against Venezuela when playing for Brazil, and he's still unable to train. His foot is still swollen, and he's having some issues, so he's unable to train with the team. So it's a big doubt that he will be able to feature in the next two games for Manchester United. We're hoping that the big man in the middle will be back for a game against Manchester City because it's an all-important derby, and we definitely need him to be present. So, guys, what are your thoughts this morning? Oh, and Nigel Flynn. Nigel Flynn is talking about it's funny how Sky News are turning back on what they said yesterday. The Qatar bid is still on the table. The Glazers could ask Qatar to come back to the table. They asked once already, and it could happen again. And I totally agree with you, Nigel Flynn. And this morning, I was about to give you some information about that as well. And it's been reported by Sky again that Sheikh Jassim's team's bid had floated the possibility of withdrawing in May after a lack of progress since making an apparent final offer requested by the Glazers in April. Sheikh Jassim is understood to have raised his offer once since then, but it was not satisfactory for the Glazers. And despite being far more than the club's 3.3 billion evaluation on the New York Stock Exchange, the difference between the parties over the valuation, which still leaves an open possibility of Sheikh Jassim being enticed back into the process. As the protests against the Glazers continue, but any renewed interest from Qatar would be complicated by the progress made by Sir Jim and Ineos. And what that means, my friends, is that although Sir Jim Ratcliffe had taken the lead and is now the favourite to purchase Manchester United, the Sheikh bid is still on the table. So although he has threatened to withdraw his bid, it has not been fully withdrawn as yet. And we are waiting the board meeting on Thursday, which will be presented with both bids. And hopefully the 11 board members make the right choice, not only for Manchester United, but for Manchester United fans and the future of this club. And as we know, it's a difficult thing. And not everyone wants Sheikh Jassim. Maybe some people think Qatar is sports washing. Maybe some people think they don't want a state ownership. And, as fans, we may have to respect their opinions because they are fans just like us. But as fans, I think we all share the same opinion. We don't want the Glazers. So getting Jim Ratcliffe would be like Glazers 4.0 because it would be the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe. We want a full sale at United. So are we going to squabble amongst ourselves as fans because we have different preferences, whether it's state owned or not? Or are we going to unite and say, you know what, we want a full sale no matter who it is, get the Glazers out of here? What are we saying? And Al Mack is coming with an uppercut here. United will be a club of the past. Glazers are the worst owners in professional sport, and Rat has just ensured that they are staying. Rival fans are loving it because United will be a non-factor. As hard as that is, I might have to agree with you in a bit because I was deflated getting the news that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is getting our club, or possibly getting our club. It's one of the worst possible scenarios. And when you think about it, you know, the biggest factors for me, the debt and the stadium. You know, as a match going fan, it's really, really difficult to enjoy a game when you have to dread and fear having to go to the bathroom during the game. You know, if you go at the beginning of the game, it's fine. But at halftime, you're walking through a flood there and it's excrement. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. Your sneakers smell like excrement. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And when there's a lot of people walking in there, it could be splashing all on your clothes. Imagine you have to take the coach back to a 2 hour trip down to, you know, to London or something. It's not cool at all, and they really need to do something about this. And I can't even begin to say how disappointed I am because I really don't believe that the money to purchase the club is going to go back into the clubs. I think it's going to go straight into the Glazer pockets, you know, because it's really shares exchanging hands. I can't get over that. And then the debt. How are we going to be successful if we have to pay debt installments every single season in the tune of, you know, 100 million or 600 or something like that or more? It's crazy. It's insane. Oh, morning, Dan Smith. Oh, Mick and Jarvis on here this morning. I got the keys to the kingdom, so I'm just doing this myself. So I hope you have a nice day as well and enjoy the stream. Oh, and he's coming back again, Dan Smith. The game should be enjoyed. They have ruined that. Only thing to look forward to is the mass protest from our fans. Oh, sorry, I forget. We are not Liverpool fan base. That's one together. Yeah, and the United fan base, they need to do something because we can't sit down and just let these guys take over. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous what they're doing right now. So, as fans, we need to pay a lot of attention to what we're doing, and we can't be fighting amongst ourselves. We need to be working together right now because at the end of the day, we are united. And as Manchester United fans, we need to come together and get the Glazers out of this club. And let's get on to the next part of this topic about the takeover. And we're hearing 25%. He's purchasing 25% in stock share. Is this 25% of 100%, or is this 25% of 69%? In that case, it's going to be 17.2% of the club he's purchasing in actuality, and not actually what we want, you know. So, or is it going to be 25% and he's basically the biggest shareholder in of the 69%? Which is it? You know, is he going to buy 12.5% of the Class B shares and 12.5% of the Class A shares? Will that satisfy both the Glazers and the external minority shareholders? We don't know. And it's very, very interesting. You know, very, very interesting. So how can we get back to this? I'm sorry, I just had to check some information right now. And so as fans, when we look at it, if it's 25% of the 69%, it's very possible that he's going to be buying out one or two or maybe even three of the Glazer siblings and replacing them, because as we know, four of the Glazer siblings are very much wanting out of the club, and the other two, they don't want to go. They just want to sit here and milk this cow, you know. And as much as I might think about it, like it's ridiculous. I want them all to go, and I'm sure a lot of fans share my sentiments. And I'm not sure if that's going to satisfy the extra minority shareholders, because if he buys 25% of the Class B shares, what about the Class A shares? And when I say this, I have to take into context the stock market resolutions today, and it has not opened yet because, as we know, we are in Europe and the stock market opens at 3 p.m. our time. So later on, depending on the rise and fall of the shares, which most of us are expecting to be in a huge drop off from the current share value of $20, and maybe he might be getting Class B shares on the cheap with the fall off, or maybe it's a ploy from Sheikh Jassim and his team so that the share price plummets and he could buy up all the minority shareholders and then buy out the Glazers. You never know what could happen. And until it's confirmed, the board has accepted an offer and it's published by the club and main media sources, including Reuters and Bloomberg, then we could only be say to have been speculating. Sources confirmed, but who are the sources confirmed, right? And that's most important because everyone is interested in finding out or saying, hey, you know, sources confirmed, but they have an NDA. So could they really disclose anything? Could people from Jim Ratcliffe's team disclose anything really? Could people from Sheikh Jassim team disclose anything really? Even the Glazers, they aren't saying anything. Has the Rain Group come out and said, we have moved the process to an exclusive period for this bidder? No, they haven't, you know? And it's really, really difficult because we're unable to figure out what's happening because we're just here based on news, based on sources that we don't even know if they're the actual sources or if this is the media just trying to get clicks, because this is the biggest story in sports right now. We have to be realistic to that fact. And the media knows that Manchester United fans are hungry for a change, a reset, a rebirth. And at the same time, I would disagree to say that they are happy for this to happen to us. And I would say that it would be in their best interest and the best interest of other clubs for us to not get Qatar. Because then, it's going to be easier for them it's just going to be easier for them. We're not going to be relevant, without clearing the debt, without a new stadium. Where are the standards? Is it going to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe standing up in front of an announcement saying, I am here now, the hero of the day, bringing the Manchester back into Manchester United. I am going to save United. But how is he when 2/3 of the fan base still aren't going to be putting their money into the club? Are we really going to be earning or developing or using the resources that are available to us to the best of our abilities? Are fans going to be 100% supportive of the move of this club? And these are the important questions. These are the important questions. And I'm sorry, right? For some reason, guys in the VR room, I'm sorry, for some reason the chat just crashed. So I'm not seeing the new chats. I don't understand why. But let me try and read them out. I can't highlight them on the screen, but I'm going to read them out. Good morning, Neil Driscoll. And Neil says, Mark, fans, hypocrite moan about the Glazers, but still go to games and buy merchandise. I agree with you, Neil. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Neil, I can't criticize some fans because when you're a fan, an international fan, and you're not even in England, you know what I mean? You can't actually go to games. So it's like, I guess as an international fan myself, I would buy a jersey because it would feel like I'm supporting my club, like I'm making a contribution to my team. I'm doing something that makes us better. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from with that, but it's like it's hard to say because you buy merch, you're not thinking about the club. You know what I mean? And I think more and more now, as more and more YouTubers pop up, more and more fan channels pop up, the fans around the world are getting more and more information about the club. So a lot of them may not have known. So you also have to give them, that benefit of the doubt that they may not have known the exact, ramifications of their actions, and they're now learning. So maybe we see a shift. You know what I mean? Jarvis is coming in. The Glazers and Sir Rat are pandering to the public opinion. They will lie to calm us down and we will stop crying. Uncle Rat is here to save the day. It's the new narrative. I agree with you, Jarvis. You know what I mean? It's really, really weird. Like, I'm trying to figure out why people think that it's going to save the day when there's no difference. The debt is not cleared. We're not even sure the stadium is going to be rebuilt. It's confusing. It's really, really, really confusing, you know? And I wish, honestly, that we had more information, more clarity on what was going on with the club and with what they're really deciding to do, because at the end of the day, fans need clarity and we are the heartbeat of the club. And if they want to, as owners of this club, if they want to maximize their business sense, they should get the fans on board. And the only way to get the fans on board is to clear the debt, rebuild the stadium. And for my opinion, the only way to do that is to sell to Qatar. You know what I mean? So, what? Jarvis is coming in again. Rules and regulations regarding the disclosure of material information by a publicly traded company apply even if the information comes out in the media before it's confirmed by the company, if the reports are true. 100%, Jarvis, 100%. And Neil Driscoll is coming back in. Oh, we're a mid-table club now. I don't think so, guys. I don't really think so, because at the same time, it's like, you never know what could happen, right? You never know, right? And at the same time, it's like it's possible that it could be a positive or a negative. And as we are fans for the club and we believe that a full sale is the only way and the best way for us going forward, could we still take a time and consider if Jim Ratcliffe does buy the club? What are the positives of that? That I would like to hear on your comments in the VR room. I can't, for some reason, I can't see the chat here, so I can't bring it up on screen. So, but comment and I'll read it off from my phone and it would be awesome. Because at the end of the day, we're the Realist TV here, and we're here to bring you all of the news, and whether we like it or not, you have to look at all of the facts, and the facts have both sides, because there's a positive and there's a negative, right? And if Jim Ratcliffe comes into play, he's planning to bring in Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell might be one of the best in the world, but without other structure around him and the funds to support that structure and development in infrastructure, would he be successful? You know what I mean? Is it just talent ID and scouting young players that are going to save Manchester United? How long is this going to take for the structure to work, for us to see the positive changes in this ownership? You know what I mean? 2, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe. These are the important things for fans to be considering, right? Because at the end of the day, even though we don't like the situation, it's not concrete, but it makes no sense to think about it in a negative sense alone. You know what I mean? Consider the possibilities of positive changes. You know what I mean? So Jim says he wants to take control of the all sporting affairs at United, meaning he's going to be in charge of probably get a brand new DOF, a better technical staffing team for Ten Hag, better medical facilities, you know what I mean? New sports science and sports trainers, better, they might even develop a training ground or something. It's not a stadium, so I don't think it might be as expensive to develop a new training pitch. You know what I mean? So at the same time, I'm speculating off of reports that they say that this is what they're going to do and that is what they're going to do. So it's not concrete, but at the end of the day, they have a plan, and they had a plan when his company and him bought OG Nice, and they are not doing too well. But he did try to put best in class. He may have took too long, so the process didn't work as fluid as possible. But who knows, you know? And Ratcliffe, Yarley's coming in. Ratcliffe had a 4 billion to spend. He's using 1.8 billion to get his 25%. There's 2.2 billion left. Will he spend it on the club? I don't know, Yarley. Ratcliffe is an expert at taking over and restructure and making things profitable. That is true. I mean, he had some success with Mercedes, but at the same time, it's not all roses, because Mercedes is actually wanting to break their partnership with Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos at the end of the day. So you could read those reports. I'm not an F1 fan, but I've seen reports of this. And Neil Driscoll can buy Man United merchandise from what? Other websites. You do not have to buy from the club. It's what I do. Okay. Well, maybe sometime you could post some of the links and we could inform fans on where they could get alternate stuff for the club. You know what I mean? Because that's new to me, to be fair. Ruben Pina, a full sale will be a positive, a better United, renovation of Old Trafford, a new stadium so our women's and youth can have a stadium, better players for the future. I totally agree. Jimmy the United Savior. It's a nickname sprinkled with a touch of sarcasm. Asid Mia, no positive from SRJ bid. There's more positivity if Qataris take over. We know that we won't struggle to buy players the manager needs and wants, even if it takes 3 years where we want to be. And I agree with you. And it's a simple fact. Like, at the end of the day, a lot of people say we don't need money if we have a good structure. But at the end of the day, are those people willing to wait 5 years for the structure to take effect? That's important. You know what I mean? You can think about good structure and proper structure, but at the end of the day, with the current ownership, we don't maximize the money that comes into the club to invest in football. Dividends are taken out. You know what I mean? We have debts to repay. So it's basically a loop when you say, oh, United makes enough money that if they had a better structure, they could be very, very successful. Yeah, hypothetically speaking. But when you consider we have debt repayments, we have full facilities to upgrade, which we haven't upgraded in years. Where's the money coming from? How are we going to buy new players when the roof is leaking? The toilets need fixing. You know what I mean? So you have to think about it in that perspective as well. Almac is coming in. Why would a 25% minority shareholder pay for a new stadium and pump money into the club when the other shareholders don't? And that's a great point. I also agree. I don't think with his 25% bid, we're going to see a new stadium in the next 2 to 5 years, honestly. Unless some miracle happens. And when I say a miracle, unless like there's some happenings in the background that no one knows about that's forcing the Glazers to use that money to build a stadium, which I highly doubt. So it's really trying to find the positive in this deal, because at the end of the day, You know, you don't want to just be like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. You want to look at things from both sides. So I'm not saying that for me, Jim Ratcliffe is going to be a positive, or for United, really. I'm just looking at what the possibilities could be. Because I would also say I would hang my hat on the Qatar train, because I know we need lots of money. We need the debt cleared, and we need a new stadium. So those two things I can't get over. I won't get over, and I'm all gonna be like stunned on that. And even if Qatar wasn't able to come in last minute and swoop and take ownership of this club, I don't know. I'll be very disappointed as a United fan, but at the same time, I'll still be a United fan. You know what I mean? Sally delivered the saying, to be honest, we have no idea how long it will take, what money will be available for improvements, or that it may be done or may not be done. So Jim Ratcliffe is just filled with holes and uncertainty. Uncertainty. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you know, I don't understand. I feel like people talk about business and whatever, but thinking about the Glazers, I can't really judge them on a business sense, on normal businessmen. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they don't behave like normal businessmen. They have a product and it's in high demand, but they're not, you know, doing the product justice. They're not giving the product the best it needs to make to so that all the demand is satisfied. You know what I mean? In a way, because fans need to be satisfied at the end of the day, and we can't be going to a broken down stadium that's rusting and leaking and spending top dollar for tickets. You know, it's ridiculous. Yali Mamin is saying, I hate the situation as much as it's as the next person, but there's some info out there what Jim wants to do, but we do have to wait until after he gets the club. There's also too much false information. I agree, but when is he going to get the club? If he buys a 25% stake now, is he really going to pay the rest to get the 75% in the next 3 years or the next 10 years? You know what I mean? Like, it's really, really sad thinking about it, because you never know. You know, you don't know. And they're trying to make it sound like it's amazing. Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's buying the club, he's going to buy all of it. But he's not building a stadium until he owns the club. He's not clearing the debt until he owns the club. So everything going forward for the next 2 years under Jim Ratcliffe has to be taken with the debt in consideration. Debt repayments. You know what I mean? And with the current size of inflation, who knows how much more the debt payments could be every year. And at the end of the day, I can say all United fans agree when we say we want Glazers out. And this is not meant to be a long stream, because I'm just covering some information on the happenings and a little bit of news and updated reports that were once saying this weekend it's done, and now they're saying there's possibilities of changes because Sheikh Jassim bid is still on the table when they said it was withdrawn before. So, you know, it's just a little bit of information for you all, and I hope you all enjoyed it this morning, and I thank you for your time. And thanks, Jarvis, for popping in. I'm sorry that for some reason I wasn't able to see the live chat, and I apologize for that. And Bella, take it away.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. If you want to take it to the next level, you can always show your appreciation to sponsor our channel by clicking below the video title, where you will see the heart icon with the text saying, thanks. Or you could buy me a cheeky little coffee by scanning this barcode, or visit this link to buy me a virtual coffee. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. Remember, glory, glory, Man United, Glazers out. It is green and gold until we are announced and sold. That was all from me. I wish you a good day and a great match experience, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.